Just talking? Well, what's the show about?
About nothing.
I hate how like on the I don't know if you guys use like the Google News app, but so on the desktop version, you can filter by subgenre of news. So like you can go into entertainment and then you can go into music.
Oh, okay.
And then you can just filter all music news. But you can't do that on the Google app. Like you can just go to entertainment and it's just all entertainment. So I was like, damn it, I don't care about like the reality shows and crap like that.
If it's not Vanderpump, I don't care.
Dude, this thing is blowing up. I don't even know what that is.
I'm so they all signed back on, except for one of them. I'm fucking. I don't know.
Oh, I'm lost.
Except for the main puta.
Dude, I did see a video that like broke down like why we like did like a philosophical take of like why we love reality shows, and it's like they're basically saying that it's like you're vicariously like living through them in somehow.
Yeah.
Like either it's the drama aspect, their life on display, you know, if they're rich, you know, or if they're famous, you know, you're kind of using them, or even some like you're like hate watching in a sense. You know?
Exactly.
You're like
Yeah.
you want to, you're internalizing why you're better than these people. Like, and then that's
So
why you're
much
watching.
better. Yeah.
That's interesting.
But I was like, oh, it's an interesting view on it. But they bought the Vanderpump because that's
That's
everywhere, dude.
It's everywhere right now.
But
That's such a fucking interesting topic itself, too, dude. The whole we can't look away from
the car
like
crash.
yeah, yeah.
That's funny because I was watching
that
car
idea.
crashes earlier too.
It's such a fucking crazy thing, dude. That is a step brother, not even step brother. That's actually the fucking sister to FOMO,
Yeah.
like the fear of missing out. You know, the same people that have that fear of missing out are the same people that will do that. You know, like they have to like stop and stare. Which is, dude, I swear to God, this is like an ongoing thing. When I'm in traffic or when I'm thinking about something, I'm like, you guys, there's such more, like, we got a job to do, first of all. We all got to keep this fucking freeway moving.
Yeah.
There's no reason for us to stop because that's on that side.
Exactly.
And as we're approaching our peripheral, you can already see it, but you slow down so you can just see it, you know? And it drives me crazy because I'm like, fuck, that's so crazy.
Even
that
though
you can't control yourself.
Yeah, you're just like, oh.
Even though the traffic has already slowed down and you're pissed about it slowing down, you still look though.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I
I'm
mean?
the same way. I'm like, damn it, we're slow down. Then as we get close, I'm like,
I'm like, yeah,
oh.
exactly, peeking it.
It's, dude, it's an interesting
You
thing.
know what I think it is? I think it's because it's like the closest thing we can get to experiencing death for real. You know what I mean? Not the accidents, but just like people,
Good take.
even people are watching like videos of people dying or vicious murders or stuff like that, or seeing dead bodies. It's because you're like, oh, so is that how I'm gonna look, or is that what's gonna happen to me? Because it's
so
your
fascinating,
own,
yeah.
it's your own mortality, your own. Like you're looking at it like, shit, this is gonna end. You know, like kind of deal.
It's in that realm.
It might not be like in the very forefront of everybody's mind, but maybe in like subconscious, you're thinking like, oh, I am gonna die, so let me see what a dead body looks like and how.
Yeah, maybe
that-
subconsciously.
How like different deaths are. You know, I don't want to experience that kind of death kind of deal.
That whole thing has changed. I mean, it's a market now.
Yeah.
To watch.
Yeah.
Dying people.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that used to be so frowned upon, man. I mean, not just because like everything that we were watching was so like who controls that? Not the FCC, because the FCC is obviously wait, is FCC radio?
No, FCC does
FCC,
television too.
Television too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then it was the FCC.
But now it's like so lax where, well, I don't know if it's lax. It's just there's more avenues to view it. You know what I mean? So there's just gonna make it through no matter what.
With the introduction of the internet.
Yeah, you can fucking go into TikTok and just like
Yeah.
or not TikTok, Twitter, and just fucking go to a page of all people dying. You know what I mean?
There was
It's wild.
to the effect of you're talking about like the FCC. There's a kind of a correlation to people talked about like when the 24-hour news cycle started, when like CNN or C-SPAN first started.
Okay.
They ran news 24/7, And so they had to figure out ways to keep people watching. So what they started doing was televising police chases.
Yeah.
And because they're like, oh, they happen, and people tuned in like crazy to watch them. So I wonder if there's like
sick.
We kind of attuned ourselves to like, oh, like what's gonna happen, the police chase and the spectacle of it. So that way, like when we're in traffic, like one, they're catching us at a vulnerable moment because we're bored as hell because we're in traffic, and then two, we're like looking like, oh, like what could be the spectacle of what's going on over there.
Yeah.
It was so funny when I went to go pick up my tux for the wedding. I was standing outside just waiting because I had to wait like 15 minutes. And as I was waiting, fucking police chase was like going right by me. And the guy was weaving in and out of cars. And then he came and did a U-turn, came back. And I was just like, whoa, like this is, I've never seen this live before, It was crazy.
Dude, there is something to it because when we landed in New York, when we were going, like, we were walking down the street. And then all of a sudden, like, everybody was like watching this one kid, like I don't know if he had pizza or something, but like everybody kind of knew something was gonna happen, and so they were watching this kid, and then all of a sudden he takes off, and then you just see like 3 cops just take off after him and chase him down the street.
Wow!
And then nobody knew what was going on, like, and I'm like there, like, cause they ran right past us. I was like, oh fuck cops, film them, film them, film them. Because right after that, they freaking like they checked him into like there was like the gate right there. The
I'm sure.
Gate.
Yeah.
And then like checked him right into there, and then like all of them started ganging up on him. I was like, what the hell? I was like, what did you do? Like,
exactly.
This guy pulls the fucking curtain shut.
Yeah. So Billy clubbing him.
Yeah, for a pizza. If it was.
Yeah, I don't know what was happening. Like it was
for a pizza
because we were walking and we were just trying to get to the hotel, but like you can kind of like now when you have your spidey sense going off and you're like. Something's about to go down.
Yeah.
Like people are watching. Like
that's
something
so
about
weird, dude.
Dude, LA is gonna get wild with the new bill that passed, where like you can pretty much steal anything like or the amount of like up to $950.
So yeah, I think it's under $900. It's not a felony or not.
You're just gonna get you're just gonna get kicked out. Though if they won't process you.
That's it. They won't prosecute you, so you won't.
Yeah, you pretty much can do it every day, and then some days you win some days you lose some. But as long as you don't go over that certain amount, you'll be fine.
Dude, we can get into this really quick if you want, because we got into an interesting discussion over Father's Day about this. So we were talking about it, and we're
filming, right?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Welcome to the show, everybody.
There you go.
You've already been in the Matrix for a couple minutes now, but welcome in. We're getting into this. But to that, we were talking about like the idea of like, because they're decriminalizing anything under like $900.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Vanessa's mom was like, oh, like, well, that's just, let me know when that law passes because I'm going to go steal. And like, she's getting, I was like, well, the people who aren't going to steal. Like, just because like you automatically like say something, you change a law, like doesn't necessarily, maybe some kids like that were already stealing, or some people that were already stealing are gonna be like, okay, well now
I could just like do it without crazy consequences.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I was like, but the people that's are law-abiding citizens, they're not gonna follow that. And I was like, when I went on the reason, I was like, the reason why they changed it was because a lot of security guards were going gung ho, and they were chasing people. They're knocking them down, they're beating them, and there's been a whole bunch of incidents that
a lot of deaths.
Yeah, where they killed them.
It's wild.
And then this is where it got crazy because Vanessa's mom was like, well, then they shouldn't have stole. I was like,
stealing's not worth the life.
I was like, I agree. They should be punished for stealing. But I was like, I don't think execution is the punishment for stealing.
Yeah,
Fuck it. You stole some batteries, you gotta die.
It's either your hand or your life. It's one or the other.
But it like threw me for a loop, and I was like, what do you mean? Like, I get the sentiment where like, oh, well, it's this. There's like kind of an attitude among some people where they're like, well, they shouldn't have been like. I almost put it in the same category. I don't know if you guys follow me or agree with me, but like the when like we saw a lot of the where like black people were getting pulled over by cops.
Yeah.
Immediately the first question was like, well, what were they doing?
Yeah.
And it's like, or if especially if they got like manhandled or they got beaten or something, like people were like, what were they doing? It's like, regardless what they were doing,
Yeah.
like it doesn't. The punishment isn't, execution.
Yeah.
Absolutely, dude.
Yeah, never.
You're
I don't think.
right.
Yeah, no. There's only a few
Uh,
circumstances that can call for that action. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, one of them's murder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like, yeah, if that was the case, like if they were like actually, you're like they murdered somebody in the
Yeah.
store while they were stealing $900 worth of stuff.
Yeah.
then okay, maybe
Yeah.
couple those together, but
I think I remember reading that it's gonna even be some assault too. Yeah. So you can be able to
Really?
fucking like knock someone out and not.
So you can still flee and fuck someone up, stiff arm someone on the way out,
Yeah,
and
and
you're
not-
still
yeah.
okay.
So it's some assaults.
Interesting.
I think it's all based off of the person's history too. As a
That's gonna be
criminal,
rough.
but yeah, it's some assaults. So like, and I know it's like the.
Oh, I think
it-
that's something to think about too.
It's the better like
To add to
or
this argument
there's
or conversation.
of course a
Yeah.
lot of bad to it, but then there's good because then like you, because I know in California like if you, like if someone broke into your house and then you, the homeowner like
Yeah.
did something to that person, you could actually get charged for that too.
Oh yeah, there's
Yeah.
it's unlikely, but yeah, there have
Yeah.
been cases where like
yes,
people
there's
have
only
sued.
some cases. Yeah.
And- but yeah.
So I think it's like some of those are gonna go away too because then certain assault, I forget what it is like okay to do. You know what I mean?
Ah.
I think
As long as you don't majorly injure or a lot of that shit's gonna go to civil. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Civil suits and stuff like that.
dude, those are the worst cases.
I
you
know. Yeah, I
know.
Like in the sense that you just don't get justice. You know,
Exactly.
Yeah.
No.
it's so difficult. You end up spending so much just trying to fight the case, dude.
Mhm.
I wonder if they're gonna couple it with the thing, kind of what I mentioned earlier, where like there was a lot of security guards that went gung ho,
Mhm.
and if they were tackling them,
Hmm.
and then the perpetrator like hit them or something, then you could get charged with assault because you
Yeah.
hit somebody. I wonder if that's
Right.
the assault they're
Maybe,
talking
yeah.
about, and like they're gonna lower those charges or something like
Yeah.
that.
Possibly.
But I mean, like assault's assault. Like, I mean, if you, regardless, like if you get in a bar fight, like you weren't stealing anything, but that's assault.
Yeah.
Like I mean,
Yeah,
kind of.
fuck, man. I feel like that one should stay criminal. You're
Yeah,
putting your
assault
hands on
should
someone
stay
else.
criminal, yeah.
By the way, we are riffing. We do not know the laws.
Yeah, we don't
We're
know
just
We
Yeah,
have
gonna
no
experiment
idea
here.
whatsoever.
We're just
dude.
like of things we've heard. You know?
These are mostly headlines, and we don't even know the
Yeah.
full contents of these articles.
Much like everybody, we don't read articles.
Yeah, we just
we read
just skim
headlines.
through.
Yes.
No, so I think one thing that we should mention though, because I think this is pretty straightforward. Just because they do change the laws doesn't mean that changes for people that are already on probation. So don't be stupid, because if you already have probation, you already have
Yeah.
standards that you need to live by
Yeah.
lawfully, dude.
Well, kind of like Ed was mentioning earlier, where like they're kind of gonna go by your previous history.
Exactly. And that's what made me
Yeah.
remember that
Yeah.
you can't just be like, well, the law's changed now. Yeah, you
it's
might
just
not.
go
Free for all.
You
It's the
also,
Purge.
if,
Yeah,
you,
exactly,
if you're
yeah.
on parole or on probation, you can't do any crimes whatsoever, because any sort of crime puts you back into jail, incarceration, or
Oh,
any
yeah,
sort
yeah,
of,
dude.
longer terms with your probation. Sometimes even like stronger terms. You gotta like
Yeah.
report more often, do more drug tests, just shit that really fucking ruins your life and takes
Yeah.
the joy out of
Yeah,
it.
Dude. Yeah, dude. I was telling you guys we were watching the show.
So if that's the case, really quick,
Okay, sorry.
it leaves very few people that actually act on it, or
Yeah.
the fucking most ruthless is what I'm trying to say. Because one of those thoughts is like, it's hard to believe that all criminals are gonna rush out and start doing more crimes.
Yeah.
Like a lot of them have records, and they really can't do more crimes. They have to be smart about what they fucking do, and that's just. Speaking from an old criminal, man, I mean, that's
Yeah.
just kind of like the way you have to think about it, dude.
Is this crime worth the risk? Kind of deal.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of a misnomer too. Like the idea, just because something is illegal, okay, or because something is against the law. How am I trying to say this? I'm trying to say like normal people, just because it's legal, aren't just gonna do it.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
Most people have a code of morality.
exactly.
They're not
Except when
gonna
we're
go
checking out at Walmart. I think
Yeah.
everybody's doing the same exact thing as self-checkout.
Until Walmart introduces where I get 5% off, or because I checked myself out, it's 5% discount.
I'm gonna
Then-
take 5% of sales.
Honestly, dude, I'm not on the fucking clock. You're right, dude. Like, I'm not catching a check. I'm not getting a
we're
check.
saving
from the
them
dude.
money.
I mean,
Yeah,
we're actually
absolutely.
paying more. We're doing more. We're fucking checking ourselves out and paying for the damn bags now.
Full fucking price.
Yeah, yeah.
And paying for the bags. You're right.
Yeah.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
They're fucking, dude. That's yeah.
So like the way to do it is like just like go shopping for a month and see how much money you have to spend in bags,
Hmm?
and then take that much. You know.
Or how long it takes you to check out, add that up to whatever their minimum wage is,
Yeah.
and then boom, that's how much you tallied at the end of the month.
yeah.
It's a rewards program. Think of it that way.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Shoppers rewards program.
Shoplifters rewards.
It's like the punch card at the boba spot.
Yeah. You get to take one free item, you know.
That'd be awesome if like there's a revolution and just Walmart gets like a slew of bills. You know, like, people are just fucking sending them like, this is what you owe me.
Yeah.
Pay up.
This many unpaid hours.
Yeah, dude, I
Dude,
can
it's
see it happening.
ridiculous. Like in the line at Walmart, I don't go through the self checkout just because like usually I only go to Walmart to like go grocery shopping and I don't want to sit
Okay.
there and
Oh yeah.
fucking 200 items.
It's tougher
you know what
when
I
you
mean?
have a lot of shit.
But
Yeah.
then it's like, man, the lines they have 15 registers and like 2 people.
Yeah.
Yep, and it's the oldest people that have ever worked
Yes.
any job ever, dude.
Dude, I was standing in line. It was like maybe 2 weeks ago, and like I was standing in line already, right? And then the light, maybe like 2 minutes later, the light goes off, right? And they tell me, "Oh, sorry, you know." I'm like, "Nah." I was like, "I've been in this line for the last like couple minutes. You're gonna check me out, you know? I'm sorry."
I'll die in this line if I have to.
Yeah.
Yo,
Usually, like, if they're planning to do that, they'll be like, "Oh, like, sir, what the red hat? Like, you're my last customer."
Exactly,
You know?
yeah.
Click.
Yeah.
yep. I like that. I like when they
Yeah.
do that. I like being the last guy too.
Yeah, exactly.
I do. It's pretty nice, man. Then you got to reinforce the lineman because, hey, man, the line, I'm the last.
Yep,
Yeah,
I'm the
You
last,
know,
bro.
Kick
So-
rocks, dude.
Kick rocks, bro. Because I agree, this girl or person needs to go to lunch, you know,
Yeah.
kind of deal.
For sure.
But-
I understand.
I was in line already, so you got to check me
Yeah.
out.
That's
You
it. Just
know?
like, look, all you got to do is like, just browse the line. You're like, okay, there's no new people after this guy, so that's the last person,
Exactly,
you know?
yeah.
I
You're not like halfway through, like, from you 3 back. Fuck all you.
be gone.
What? Self-checkout, bitches.
I always assume like those type of like employees are the ones that like love to like stick it to the customer. You know, the ones that will argue with you.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
me. That's when I worked at Walmart.
They love just to be like, you're like, oh well, I get this. They're like, nope, you missed the day. You know, that's double couponing. Like you
Yeah,
can't like
exactly.
whatever they're arguing with
Dude.
you.
Yeah, because some work a shitty job, so they need to feel some empowerment. You know?
Yeah, dude. I like when people do that, though, like, I don't want to be talked to that way. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. But,
Yeah.
But I'll watch it.
but I'll watch the fuck out of it. I'll watch that crash, and I'll just stand by and just fucking
Once-
observe the whole goddamn
Yeah.
thing, dude.
And it all comes back around to
There you
like
go.
the
That's how we do
spectacle.
it.
The spectacle of it, yeah.
We can't turn away from the spectacle.
You can't turn away sometimes.
See, we plan
dude.
things sometimes.
Yeah. It's funny, dude. Oh, God.
But yeah, we'll check. We'll see what goes on with that law. See.
Long, yeah. See what I forgot what it's called. I know it's like up for vote already, so
Okay.
we'll see what happens.
But from there, we will go to break, and we'll be right back. The mighty senses fail.
The
Good
mighty.
old Census fell. It's like it feels like a home cooked meal. You know what I mean? Like you're comfortable.
I like that,
Your
dude.
comfortable underwear. You know what I mean? You
Ah,
put it on,
yes.
you
Oh,
know
yeah.
you can never go wrong.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like coming home.
It's got some air vents. Yeah.
exactly.
I like that, dude.
It's your best pair of Crocs.
And there you go.
I know we talked about Optimite. That album for me, it's that's that home cooked meal, just like you said, dude.
Exactly.
Yeah. Whenever I hear it, man, there's some albums that I'll go back to and I'll be like, you know what? I listened to this too much.
Yeah.
There's a
Oh,
lot of
yeah.
shit like that, but this one, dude, it doesn't do that to me. I don't know why. I give it breaks though. I do give it really long breaks.
I think like that album naturally does that to me for like it's like, oh cool. I'm not sick of it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, all right, cool, we can give it a break and then, come back to it and it's like, oh shit, where were you? You know, like,
It's still
kinda
fresh
deal.
as fuck. It's so crazy to me. I had a memory that like just was just popping up in my head when I first started listening to them earlier today. And I remember, I don't know how you guys recall, but I recall when we seen them live, I had made a bold statement, and this is for everyone that's listening to this podcast today, whether you're listening to the podcast or watching us on YouTube or you're on Spotify, if you're on Deezer, wherever you're listening from.
Deezer loyals.
Wherever you guys are listening from, this is, Rob speaking today, and this is a bold statement. It's going to be really weird for you guys to hear, but when these guys performed that night, dude, I had said for a few years after following that was one of the best live shows that I had seen anyone fucking perform, period. And I had seen a lot of different bands up to that moment, dude. We already seen AFI like, 5 times. We had seen, I don't know, Take It Back Sunday, Thursday. A lot of not Sense Fail yet, but Saves the Day. A lot of bands at that moment, we had already like seen all of our heroes, let's say, because I don't want to make it sound like we've seen the best bands that ever existed. No, we've seen the best bands that we thought existed.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to say. And trying to compare that to the caliber of other bands that were weighing against him. Dude, it was a bold statement, but I fucking can't get Buddy Nielsen's vision out of my mind, dude. This guy blasted on the stage. Mm-hmm. He fucking ran out on the stage and was already spinning as they fucking came out, and he was bopping around, and I was like, oh my God, this is the most energy that I'd ever seen anyone hit the fucking stage with, dude. And I think he came out to the opening track to that album, Let It Unfold You.
Okay. Yes,
I think it's not Blue Dress. It might be Bite to Break Skin or
ooh, I want to say
something.
that's next on the.
Let's see. One moment, we're gonna do freaking some sort of editing magic here because we definitely need to get this.
Tie Her Down is the first song.
Tie Her Down, dude. That's such a freaking energetic track, it's amazing that they even opened this album with it because it just drives you right into this ride of this wave of music that's just gonna be consistent the entire album. I don't think it ever really dies down.
Oh no, heck that album is a no skips album for sure.
100%. And the energy is just that fucking 11.
Every song drives the next song, and it's like a consistent, well thought track placing. It's so good.
Absolutely. And then this New Jersey falls into the Atlantic. It's like on the tail end of the album, maybe coming in at 8 or 9 even.
It's the last quarter of the album.
Okay.
Because there's 3 more songs after it.
It's on the tail end, but man, it doesn't disappoint. They don't lose steam is what I'm trying to say. I fucking love the cadence in this. There's so many, I think so many melodies that he created for this album that I truly love, dude.
Oh, yes.
They're like some of the most energetic pop sounds that I've fucking heard, dude.
I think it's they're probably the best, I don't know if they're pop punk, but I kind of put them in that realm a little bit.
It is,
because
but it's
so fucking catchy and so good.
It's I'm trying to I want to figure it out too. Maybe you guys can help me because it's definitely holding the baton or taking the freaking they're taking notes from Saves the Day.
Yeah.
With
especially
melodically, I think so.
And lyrically,
lyrically, it's 100% taking those morbid lyrics and putting them into pop music, you know, which is so beautiful when you do it right, Yeah. And Saves the Day is a great example, and so is Senses Fail. Dude,
especially on this album, yeah, definitely.
Oh my God, he's always talking about just this. He's always talking about this love loss, or the way that, a woman treated him or, a significant other treated him. And he wants that person to die.
Yeah.
And, maybe you'll meet your ends, by the way of a noose, or it's always these weird, lyrics. And it's just blood everywhere, knives everywhere.
I think because he embodied that, everybody who's ever had a lost love, has very roller coaster of emotions. Yeah. And if you vividly put that into a picture or something, then you would come up with some crazy stuff like this, especially if you're already a very over the top dramatic type of person. Yeah. That's kind of how your imagery is.
Yeah,
as it is.
I mean, I think everybody goes into that point of like thinking the deepest, darkest thoughts of that person once they're there.
Yeah.
But it's cool to hear it from a very happy place. You know, like a very happy tone. There you go. Yeah.
It can be cathartic.
It's a little bit comedic, you know, because you're like, you're like all these downer lyrics, but then it's like emotional levels up here. It's weird.
But it's catchy as hell.
Yeah.
Dude, honestly, like it's so cool when you have lyrics like, I'll take you to the top of this building and push you off, and then I'll run down the stairs just so I can see your face as you hit the street.
Yeah.
What the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
I remember reading along and learning, and I'm like, oh my God, this is what? This is what you wrote? Like, it's so crazy, dude.
It sings so melodically and so good.
It's so good. It's pop punk, and you're like, and it's energetic. It's like higher octane than a Blink, you know?
I
like,
think, for sure. I think the only other thing that, like, where I was like those type of lyrics, the only other thing that measured up to me was how beautiful Davey says, fuck you. You know what I mean?
You're right.
Yeah.
I live for those moments.
Because this is like this horrible word, you
Yeah.
know, but like sung so beautifully. So,
Yeah. Claudio says some really good fucks too,
yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
It's really cool because you know what? You bringing that up, I'm remembering they have different emphasis on the way they cuss, you know?
Yeah.
The drive to it is so different. Like Davey's really smooth and just, I don't even know. He's got this, you know, crescendo to it where Claudio will have like this stern, like fucking, you know, like it's crazy.
But it's not like, because we've heard the aggressive fuck all our life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of the only way to say it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then when you hear it in a beautiful tone or a different way of saying it, it's like
a way that it sneaks by you, like
fuck. Oh,
yeah. It doesn't sound so bad. And
But that show
good placement.
was a great show. I still remember the energy, especially of their set, and it was out there, and it was kind of like theatrical. His movements, buddy. You know what I mean? And I like that. You know,
it's wild, dude. Like I can't remember. Like I remember the show. I remember the bill. I remember like enjoying the entire time.
Yeah.
I think I remember like us having to hoof it from like the parking lot. Like I feel like we parked in like a Ralph's parking lot or something like that.
Was that in the van?
Sounds about right.
When I drove the van?
Oof. That one's tough.
Car-wise, I don't know.
I think I remember like parking like hella far.
It might have been.
Yeah, we like hoofed it
we
for
were
a
all
minute.
together.
That's all ringing a bell.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I don't remember the performance itself. I do know that License like does like tend to like have really good live performance, live energy. Dude, but like I think that show itself like just was great nonstop, you know, from beginning to end, you know what I mean? Because it opened with, like we said, Van Stone. I mean,
even though fill-in band, they just subbed for the night.
And we never listened to them again, never seen them again, but still know who they are, know where they're from.
But they set the tempo for the night.
They did. They set the energy for the night for sure. It was like, right.
That's a tough job.
It's, you know what it was? It was like, we're fucking here to party show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They did do that, dude.
Yeah, we're here to party. And everything's going to be a party after this.
And I think they knew, like, kind of it wasn't their crowd anyway, so we're just going to, like, go balls to the wall, you know, just kind of go all out.
Yeah.
Dude, they left everything on that stage. I recall, I don't know if this is correct, but did they have, like, a little tiny megaphone?
I want to say...
Like that tiny little plastic one that's got that little battery, so like...
I
wouldn't doubt it, but I don't remember.
I remember a show like that, but I don't know if it's that specific.
Okay.
I remember someone having a little megaphone to scream into it to create that effect.
Yeah, I recall that too. I can't remember if it was Van Stone. They were doing wild shit that night, so just
like,
kind of pinning it to them.
Your thesis behind this statement made me think of like, what is the moment for me that I was like, whoa, like how can this person or this band command this much intention and energy? And even though I don't really listen to them anymore and they're kind of like fell off a little bit for me, but the moment was when I first saw AFI and it was God Called In Sick at the end where he fucking like walked on the people. You know what I mean?
And
people were catching his legs. People were catching his legs as they were falling and he was out there, you know? That was the moment for me that I always remember. Like when I try to think of all the hundreds of shows I've been to, what's that show that I can remember?
Who commanded your attention?
Yeah, specific moment about like, you know, There's two of them. That one is
Yeah.
because it's the best moment, and the other one was the worst moment was just because of fucking Morrissey doing his whole vegan speech. You know, at the show we went to.
That's so funny, dude. I don't remember the speech.
You don't remember when he was?
I don't
when he
remember the
did-
speech.
Yeah, I don't remember the speech, but I remember being like,
So bored or
"Oh
something.
my god, dude, I don't want to hear you this
I
10
just want a
minutes."
fucking burger. Shut the fuck up. I'm not
love
changing my mind.
I love your music, but how, man, dude?
5 years from now, I'm gonna be on keto. I'll eat all fucking meat.
I was just
Don't be preaching to me.
Yeah, that was like
That's
that. I was
funny,
like,
dude.
I don't need to go. I'm not here to go to church. You know what I mean? Kind of deal.
I can definitely understand that would feel preachy because I don't like when usually people
Yeah.
use that
Get
moment
that
to
preachy.
It just
Yeah, preach
feels
something
weird.
oddball.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Davey moment was I think the moment that I can remember the most. From
I
the
like
show.
that, dude. There's two guys in this lifetime, dude. Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, who walked on water,
Yeah.
and Davey Havoc, who freaking walked on people, man. This is pretty cool, you know.
Yeah,
They've
it
got
was
some similarities.
Yeah.
Walked on the Dead Sea or a sea people.
Yeah.
A sea of dead people.
It was fun. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's true.
Yeah. It was,
We're the dead boys.
Yeah, the
Or the Gone Girls, the Dead Boys. That's who
Yeah.
love Davey.
Yep. Yep.
The Gone Girls love Davey, and so the Dead Boys too.
Yes.
So there's something here to that. So
I'll go with it.
yeah, we
Yeah.
forced it, but it'll work.
Do you have a moment like that, Ray?
There are a few like frontmen who like command the attention. Like
Yeah.
it always
Or what is
reminds
the moment in a show for you that you think you remember the most that you know you'll never forget?
the moment I'll never forget, and it's the same thing that a lead singer like commanded the attention was. I think me and Cody went to go see Let Live at Chain Reaction,
Oof.
and Jason Butler like he freaking like he ran like through he like crowd surfed on the crowd, came down, went to the back and stood on top of the sound booth.
Oh shit! Yeah.
And it was amazing because me and Cody were like leaning against the sound booth, so he was like right above us,
Wow.
like just screaming into the mic
Wow.
and
Yeah.
going ape, like how he does. Like people watch, freaking videos of him now where he's climbing scaffolding and going insane.
Dude,
But,
yeah.
That is a good moment. That and him too is a frontman. Is freaking.
Oh
he's
yeah,
awesome, dude.
he
He's
commands
fucking
energy.
sick,
He
dude.
is,
He
yeah.
does that shit all the time.
Yeah, dude.
He did that when we seen him at that Nitrous Center
the
or whatever.
Self-Help
The
Fest?
Self-Help Fest,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's where I
He
missed.
did climb the rafters, huh?
He fucking did, dude.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
And then every time after that, with like Fever 333, I've seen him do the same shit, dude. He's always climbing shit he shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Like, just, dude, always losing his shit. I fucking like that. I
There's-
really do, man.
There's this awesome new picture of him going around right now where he's like lifting the two monitors onto his like thighs right here, and he has the mic in his mouth, and they just said everybody's like caption this.
Yo.
He's
Oh,
gonna
God.
fucking pull it like, he's gonna throw his
Pull a
back
ha-
out.
I
Pull a
know.
hammy or something.
Yo, man, this guy can't be doing that long, dude. Are you kidding me, man? He's lifting wrong. You know
Yeah,
that, right?
exactly.
He's putting him right there and just like, "Ugh," lifting with his all of his back, you know, like
Do you even lift, bro?
that sounds so crazy. But you gotta love him for it.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, putting on a show.
Yeah, frontmen like that are the reason why like we remember them. You know what I mean?
I think
The
it goes.
energy.
Yeah.
I think it goes back to the movie Almost Famous, where the singer he was giving a speech and he's like, "I'm the lead singer." He's like, "I find that one guy in the audience who's not getting off, and I make him get off."
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
Played by Jason Lee, by the
Yep.
way, which is such a random
Yeah, I know, huh?
spot, but man, works so well. He played that good, like, sort of douchey sometimes lead singer too.
Yep.
Like douchey, but just wants to be accepted, like
Yeah.
little boy.
Yeah.
Just make us look cool.
Yeah. Such a great movie too. Gosh,
Heck yeah.
man, so good.
I don't know if do you think you could ever have moments like that again? Or do you think
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think they're a little more hard fought, just because I think as you get older in a certain thing, kind of like what we were talking about in the last segment, where the spectacle.
Yeah.
Once you kind of become a
Seen
little,
it enough.
yeah, you become a little desensitized. It takes a little more.
Yeah.
What I find now, may just be a getting an older thing, is like I'm moved more like by a performance.
Okay.
Like how good or how emotional or something is. Because like today I was just watching Muna. I don't know if you guys listen to the band Muna.
No.
They're like an all girl kind of dance pop ish type of band, but they did Tiny Desk concert.
Oh, okay.
And like they're really good at their like vocalization with each other. Like they do harmonies really well.
Ooh.
And then just Tiny Desk because it's very stripped down. Like when I was watching that, I was like, when I was watching that, I was like, wow, dude, like this is intense, you know, like this is really great. Like so I find myself more moved by like things like that, something that like kind of hits me, like whether it be, I don't know, like the music itself,
the raw performance.
Yeah, something to it, you know, like it's just like something, it hits different now.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
I feel you on that, dude. God, you know what? I think there's something to this, dude. I watched Cannons recently, a couple of months ago, and they were one of the first bands that I've seen in a long time. Just played so tight. Like, I mean, the music was. It's one of those moments where you do say this is better than the album because it's played as well and as tight as the album, but because you're hearing it live, it just sounds so much more dynamic and just, you know, you're surrounded by the sound, and then you get to just kind of like, you know, be whisked away by, you know, the front woman's freaking like just the way she has a flow. It's honestly so interesting, dude. She's just sort of like gracefully like flowing across the stage, dude, like with her arms out, almost looking like a hippie vision. It's really interesting, you know. She's got like this long drapey like sleeves, and
Janis Joplin reincarnate.
really though, she's channeling that, yeah, for sure. And that paired up with just the tight sound, that was a really, really, really good show. And then also too, I think the atmosphere that they built, the lights, the way that they set everything up, just the colors that were just being displayed, because the lights, God, dude, these lights are so fucking dope, dude.
Nowadays,
yeah, some of these new lights are amazing. And it sounds so dumb to be talking about lights, but honestly, it was pretty fucking dope, dude.
I think nowadays it's got
these LEDs go.
You got to have like a legit lighting system, you know what I mean?
It helps. It definitely like sets the mood for certain things. Yeah. Especially like for bands that like, I would put like maybe electronic bands or even like metal bands. Because I feel like their rhythms are tight, like especially like in metal bands, like, you know, they're going straight to the, you know, the timing of the drummer. Same thing with like electronic bands, like they have like the bass going and you have to be on time with that. And if lights are synced to that, like it's just an experience, you know.
That's
so
nice,
I think it
dude.
really helps with that.
I agree.
Do you think, kind of moving on, a little departure from the original topic that we came in with, but do you think, or do you ever stop and think like maybe I should start documenting these shows more for my personal memory? Maybe video documentation, written documentation, something, dude, because I'm like you, there's a lot of shit that I don't remember anymore, dude.
Dude, now that you say it, like, I definitely, that would be really nice, but I feel like I'm so in my head with certain things where like I want to be in the moment, but at the same time I want to like remember it for later. And I have like a romantic thought with it, like the things that I'm able to carry, those are the things that made it through.
Those are the real prizes.
Yeah, and those are the prizes.
I like the way.
So like there's a thing to it where like journaling or, you know, taking pictures or whatever to help you remember.
Yeah.
But there's something like, I love talking about the story, like we're talking about the show, where like we're all individually piecing together pieces like from that show, and it kind of makes the moment a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that. Yeah, I like that. I've never been one to document anything like as far as like shows or you know, anything like that. It's never been a thought, and I don't know. The only thing like I can see now, the only thing I see now, being older and having a kid, is I do document the moments with my daughter, because those are like the ones I don't want to forget, because I really have a bad memory now.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like those are the only things I can be like, oh, all right, cool. These are the things worth it.
Absolutely.
Remembering in an older age.
Yep.
Whereas it's cool. Like I like that mindset or that thing you're saying is where we're all piecing together our part of the story of the same situation. So it becomes a tale told between us. You know what I mean?
I do like that.
Yeah.
I do like the way you put that.
But I think it's due to your effect of like you say having like your daughter and taking pictures. Like, I think getting older, I do like the idea of having more pictures, just for the fact of like kind of coupling it together.
Yeah.
Like where before I'd be like, oh, just kind of in the moment, but like now, take 1 or 2 videos, 1 or 2 pictures, whatever it is, like a jaw or sometimes what I'll do is like, what's the, I remember the from Garden State where Natalie Portman's talking about like, oh, like let's make this original moment, and she's like does something wacky, yeah. So sometimes I'll do something like that where like, oh, if something seems out of the ordinary to me, I'll make sure to say like, if Vanessa's there with me, like, oh, that's crazy, this is happening. So like I kind of spoke the moment so somebody else could share it with me when I bring it up later.
That's good, dude.
So
I like it.
Whatever way.
Yeah, I like that. I think all these if we all just keep that in the back of our heads, we might remember a little bit more now too. Remembering like this moment, like I remember the way Ed sort of takes things into consideration, the way Ray does too, and it might even help for future memories.
Inform your thought of how to take things in, kind of deal.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I do the same thing. I do journal. Well, I journal just random shit. It's nothing really significant, but there are moments that I have journaled about the kids too, and I guess that would be some more of the more important things. I
mean, not that, I think the shows are as important in your journey as well, because of your experience and what you're feeling. I don't know. I've never seen in my life, it wasn't significant enough for me to make a note of it. Because I was just having fun with my buddies. You know what I mean? Kind of deal.
Yeah.
And like Ray was saying, living in the moment kind of deal. I never thought about it. And then now, like when I think about it now, I don't need to like go back to something to read or see, because I could just experience it again with my bros.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be the closest thing I can get to that feeling again, is by you telling me about how I reacted or how you reacted to something, instead of being like, oh, like look at this picture, this is this is us, kind of deal.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just my mindset behind it.
No, yeah, I feel you. I got to a certain point where I. Thinking back, I was blanking on a lot of different shows, and then I realized it sucks because we did go to a ton of shows. We
did,
shows that weren't our own, and a ton of our own too. And then even to just stop and think about the shows that we've played, only like 2 or 3 usually just ring a bell, or just come to memory. And it's obviously the big ones too. The times we left the state or went just out of our own county, something that simple as going to Fresno, or going to Las Vegas, those are the ones that became obviously staples in my mind, because we did something bigger than just playing that same venue that we fucking played 800 times.
Yeah. Nothing against Angel City.
Nothing against Angel City. We love Red. He's a really cool guy, but you just can't play for Red every time. Respect there. Good job, guys. You guys are amazing. Dude, he's a sweetheart.
Yes, he is.
I love him, man.
Big heart, man.
Big time. But all the other shows that we paid for, I kept thinking like, man, I wish I would have just maybe jotted down something.
You think it's FOMO?
No, it's fear of just. It is a fear of just
forgetting.
Of getting to that point where my mind isn't recalling everything anymore. Because there was a moment where my mind was so fucking like sharp. It was just, I could recall shit all the time. And as I just got older, you know what? Trauma will fuck you up. Trauma just destroys all other memories, and you're just like, oh, nothing else exists anymore except my fucking trauma.
Yeah.
But that's a whole different podcast. But I think, learning myself and learning just the way things, sort of how we retain information. I learned, okay, that's a reason why other memories are at the forefront of, my mind, and shit's just been, just dissolved. But I did think, I was like, I do love shows so much, and I love music so much that I wish I would have just wrote down certain things like, this is the way I felt that night. Maybe there was a scent in the air and, just a couple core like things to relate to that might bring back the rest of the memories. It doesn't have to be a whole journal of the entire night. The first band came out and then the second band, and every song that they played, because that was something I thought about too. I thought, I wonder what the set list was for that Census Fail show. I would like to know that. For my own personal reference, I definitely want to figure that out. And I will research the internet and see if there's some other sort of like good journalists out there or documentarians, and they fucking documented every show that their favorite band played, and hopefully I get that information. But
there's something to that, because I end up following those people. Like when I do find, like there's this dude that he kind of what do you call it, like he goes and he gets all the showcase theater shows, and he reposts all the flyers, all the old school flyers with all the bands on it.
That's cool.
So dope.
And that's really cool. Because I think there's something to how you remember things. Like maybe you are a little more like tied to words, and so words help you remember things. So jotting something down is remembering for you, or maybe it's like a smell or something, or maybe it's food, or maybe it's whatever it is. But I think there's something to everybody has their own way they associate memories with, and then so any way you can attach that better. Like I was saying earlier, like if I realize something like, oh, I'm probably gonna want to remember this, like I'll like tell somebody something.
You'll verbally speak it out.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it kind of like
lodges it. It's like Control C, Control S.
And it puts it into someone else's brain too, because they might not be thinking about that moment you're thinking about, but then you say it, they notice it, and it locks into their head. So then you could be like, hey, you remember that time?
True.
It just brings it all
I feel
back
you on
again.
that. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and then for me, yours is like more like, oh, I see that, so I need to jot that down. It's just how you attach to the memory.
Yeah.
I think everybody just has their own different thing. Like that one dude that I follow, like he obviously saved every freaking concert flyer, and that's how he remembered things. People have like scrapbooking type things. Ticket stubs or something.
I love that idea, dude. I don't know if you guys recall, but I fucking brought up the idea. It was probably in our early podcast seasons. I told you guys, dude, I have all my old scratch magazines, dude, and they have all those old ads, dude, for the shows for Chain Reaction Showcase, and then all these other little places too, But I wanted to do like on this day in fucking 1999, freaking this place.
Dude, that's what I think.
This band played.
The dude that I follow, I think he does something similar to that.
That's sick.
So
I like that.
dude, go for it, man.
I like that a lot, man.
Dude, there's a ton of people, because like I'll follow that guy, and then you'll see in his comments like, oh, do you have this, or do you have this, or do you have this? Because people are like wondering like, hey, do you have it? Because they're trying to relive those moments and stuff like that. Especially with something like the showcase. Anybody who's from Southern California, the showcase is in Corona, but they demolished it, so it's not there anymore. So that's something like really valuable to to have.
Big time, dude. Goddamn showcase, man.
Dude. I always like it because we were just talking about it because we saw the Seosin show, and me and Vanessa were talking because we first saw Seosin at Showcase Theater, and it was like, and it was their first show.
Oh shit!
Whoa.
Yeah. So like it was funny because they the bassist Chris, I think his name, he was talking. He's like, he saw it because he's from Corona, and he was like, hey, he was talking about the Showcase Theater, and he's like, oh, so how many people were at our first show at the Showcase Theater? And I was like, oh snap, we were there. I was like,
that's crazy, dude. That's pretty sick, man.
But side tangent. But
that's a good memory. See,
yeah, dude,
That's a good
at least you
memory.
got it.
yeah, dude.
No, I wasn't there. I don't think so.
It was
My first showcase show, I think, was Anatomy of a Ghost. I remember that one.
did we go? I
think
remember.
you went.
I remember seeing them at Chain, but I don't remember seeing them at.
Yeah.
You know what? I think I
I remember it was like a. Yeah.
I just remember Love Hate Hero at Showcase, dude. I didn't know. They weren't even the main band either. They were just opening up, and I was like, dude, these guys are fucking solid, dude.
Yeah.
dude. Oh man, good
But
times.
whatever.
Yeah.
We'll cruise down memory lane on another episode.
Yeah.
Because we do it anyway, so
Yeah.
we'll just be here for it. But sweet. From there, we'll head to our next break, and we'll be right back. there could be possible real life Mandela happening because, well, I don't know if you can consider it Mandela. So the new Spider-Man movie, Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
So what Sony did is they released different versions of the movie to different theaters because they wanted to like enhance the experience of like the Spider-Verse, like different things. So the movie will have different scenes for like different times in theaters you've seen it. So
What?
if but they didn't say anything. So people were like discussing the movie and like, oh, this scene, and like, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
And so people were like, what are you talking about? So the people started digging into it and realizing like, oh, Sony released so many different versions of it that you probably seen a different version than somebody else.
Hey, that's pretty interactive and pretty
So
cool.
it's the hope that we're all going to try to see each other's version. Is that what it is? Like if I seen a different one, you're gonna be like, well, I better try to watch that.
I think it's a double thing. I think
how
it's,
would they know which one to watch?
I think it's it plays into the whole theatrics of multiverse.
Yeah.
I think they're playing that part up.
I get that, but like motivation to
probably watch the movie multiple times.
Yeah.
That's what it is, yeah.
I'm gonna go to this theater and hopefully
Yeah.
I get the fucking the one where he dies or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, they're
And
not
obviously,
like,
no publicity is bad publicity. If people are talking about it and it's talking to the town, there's a buzz, So that I get it, but it's just wow. I wonder. That's interesting.
yeah, I assumed it was just like to try to like, but the weird thing is that they weren't saying anything about it. So
That's
if it
what's
was
weird because they're not.
if it was to drum up like more views of the movie,
I mean, but
then you would just tell everybody. So like, hey, go collect them
I-
all type
You're
thing.
right. Yeah, you're right.
but I think marketing agencies are getting smart enough to understand that
It needs to be more organic.
an organic find is way more driving than
Yeah.
a pushed ad or something.
You're
that.
right. Now that I heard it like secondhand by just random browsing, it made me want like, oh, I want to go watch
It's a
it
little
again.
bit more
To see.
significant. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's pretty cool, though.
But
Suppose.
it'd be interesting to see if people didn't realize that Sony had dropped other versions, like if they really thought they would got Mandela.
Yeah.
Because they're like, no, I didn't want my version had this. You
Yeah.
know, like.
My version has the Berenstein Bears.
Yo, that's so funny, dude. Interesting though. Okay.
Good old Mandela.
Yeah.
Good old man.
Sweet, but all right, let's get back into this.
Yeah.
Talking about the many people's favorite band, the Beatles.
The Beatles.
But there's an article there's an article that came out saying that they will release new music via the help of AI. So what I had read was that Sir Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr.
It's gotta be cool to be knighted.
I know. Why can't Ringo be knighted?
That's fucked up, dude.
No.
They should
Ugly.
all have been knighted. That's fucked up, dude. Yeah. Right, dude? That's fucking crazy, dude.
Dude, quick side tangent. I thought that the what do you call it? The children of famous musicians should have collaborated to make a mega band. So like Jacob Dylan and like John Lennon's sons and like what's his the drummer, he's in Slipknot now, but Max Weinberg, is that his name? The Bruce Springsteen
yep.
band? Like now Jay Weinberg, he's in Slipknot. But they should all like collaborate and make like this like
The Offspring.
no, what's that term that nepotism. They
That's good, dude.
just go on and call Nepo baby.
Yeah, there
Oh,
you
that's
go.
funny, dude. Isn't that what the Strokes are? Aren't we getting?
Are they?
We're gonna do this real quick because
Oh no, Ringo Starr is knighted.
he is.
Yeah.
Sir.
Oh,
Sir Ringo Starr.
Ring-
You're right. So, but like the Queen said, motherfucker, you gotta wait because Paul McCartney was knighted in 1997.
Okay.
Ringo Starr received the same honor in 2018.
Damn!
Wow.
20 years later?
Yep. You need to wait.
Dude. you gotta chop that ponytail.
Exactly.
How's
He was
that-
knighted for his services to music.
That's wild.
That's a wild thing.
I
right?
know, like that's just like so subjective.
Yeah.
Like, hey, your services to music. If that was the case, then he should have been knighted at the same time as
Right?
Paul McCartney then. Bastards.
He just had to do it with his nose or something.
I know. And they're like, "Oh, you have another member in the band?"
You gotta wait a little bit longer to get both you guys united.
Dude.
But you know what? Well, going on the topic of the AI thing, it'll be cool to see and cool to experience and see how it's gonna come through. See what they do.
So how exactly they're doing it is what Paul had said to the interviewer was that they're not writing any new music, but what they're doing is taking previously unreleased Beatles songs, and taking AI and using AI to finish John's like vocal parts for it.
So they're not gonna like write new lyrics. It's just gonna be.
I don't know. It was a little vague.
It's gonna be kind of like the Ghost Writer thing for Kanye, where he rapped everything but in Kanye's voice, right?
Yeah. So that's what it sounds like. It's gonna be. It's gonna be something similar. That they're gonna basically songs that they had already written with John. What it sounds like, and they're going to use those songs and finish them. Using AI to actually sing John's parts.
All right.
So, which I don't think it'll be very hard because Paul and John don't have too different of a cadence.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I'm listening. I'm not a big Beatles fan, so sometimes listening, I'm like, I don't know who's singing.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool to see. Do I care? No. You know, I'm not a big Beatles person.
They're just more of like that band that you do respect.
I respect because of the contribution they made to music, you know, and the advancements in like the technology of music and stuff like that. But
yeah, it's not gonna be like, oh, I'm not gonna go out and make sure I get the album.
Yeah.
I mean, there are those bands that you just always respect.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I've never been a big fan of Radiohead, and I know everybody loves Radiohead, but like, I respect them.
I like a few songs.
I mean, Kid A is a great album.
Yeah.
But I just never got into it, dude. Like, it's just
no, it's for real. I understand that. Like, because I remember buying Kid A, and I kind of was like bummed when I did buy it when I started listening to it. But then like it took like it was one of those like
slow burns,
like four listens, and I was like, okay, I get it now. Yeah, it was like because they used like different rhythms, so it took you a while to get used to those rhythms, and then once you got into it, you're like, okay, I can see where it's going. Yeah. And then you were like, once you were over the hump of being like, or experiencing that new music, then you could pay attention to the music and the timbre of the music and everything like that. And then you could be like, oh, now I could pick out and understand that, this shit they're doing is hard. You know, kind of deal.
They're one of those groups where like there's like almost like a cost of admission to appreciate what they're doing.
Yeah, it's kind of like Tool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Tool's got some bangers, but then like the songs you're like, ooh. But then you start getting it like, oh, okay, I get the writing, you know.
Dude, people love Tool.
Tool's freaking cool, but it is like you gotta do some
Tool's
homework.
freaking cool.
It does feel like it's an assignment to get into it. You know what I mean?
You're right, because like I never really got into Tool, but I really was digging A Perfect Circle.
Yeah,
and that's the side project, but they have like a little more like catchier songs. So
it was a little bit easier to get into.
Yeah,
the cost of entry was a little bit lower.
I need one of those. You need to dumb it down for me.
Did you find your info?
So the Strokes is Julian Casablancas singing. I thought he was the son of someone important before, like another musician. It's just the guitarist. He's Albert Hammond Jr. And Albert Hammond, his dad is a huge British rocker.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So that was I thought it was like two. I thought both boys were from big rock legends though.
Wasn't Richard Hammond? That's
the guitarist from Metallica, right? No, that's
Kurt Hammett. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Well, wasn't Richard Hammond? Isn't that one of the band members in Almost Famous? I feel like that.
I don't remember.
I don't know, but
Richard.
It's been a minute since I've seen that movie.
Hammond, yeah, I think the Hammond name, but I don't think it was Richard.
I don't know, yeah. Hammond. That's what it just kind of comes.
Yeah. But yeah, it's interesting. But regarding the Beatles, though, I did read that because my first thought was, what is Yoko Ono saying about this?
Yeah.
Because if they're going to be using John Lennon, I was going to say John Legend.
John Legend's voice.
Oh my God, dude. John Lennon's voice via AI. She's got to be like fucking pissed about that because, But technically, you guys are right. I heard you guys saying that it's older music.
Yes.
And she had already gifted that to the Beatles. That's what happened. It was somewhere in the early 90s. She gave them a few tracks that John was working on.
Here, you can have some scraps.
That's basically what it was. He did like some sort of like cassette recorded track at his New York apartment the same year he died. And that was a song. That one right there in particular, dude, that they're remaking.
Hold on. See if you can answer this question for me. Has the legality of AI been figured out yet?
Nope. That's what I was going to just draw. Like,
okay.
Because, yeah, you're right. It hasn't been figured out. Like, with it basically, especially, it's going to be an tricky thing for artists who have passed. Because artists who are still alive, obviously, they have rights to their name. Mm-hmm. So, like, they can sue for, like, if you want to make a Drake song, Drake can come after you.
Yeah.
That's why, like, Grimes, like, got ahead of it a little bit. Basically, she said, like, I'll give it to you. Just give me 50% of the royalties. So she's handling it that way. But for artists who've already passed, like, say if I want to clone John Lennon's voice and I want to make a song, I mean, technically, he didn't write anything. I'm not stealing any of his melodies, his lyrics. Nothing is getting stolen. It just sounds like his voice.
Yeah.
So I don't. It's a weird gray area.
So what are they gonna do? Figure out how to copyright a voice then?
Yeah, I don't know. Because I mean, I think that's the question people are asking, but then it gets into a weird gray area because, like, what if you normally sing and you just sound a lot like a different artist? You know, can you say like, oh, you're stealing, my tone? Like, interesting enough. So, I remember a band coming out called Hail the Sun, and the singer sounds a lot like Anthony Green.
Okay,
if you listen to him. Funny enough, Seosin brought him out for the show, and he did some backup parts.
Wow,
worked out perfect. But a lot of people say like, oh, he sounds a lot like Anthony Green. I mean, if the case was you can copyright the sound of your voice, can you sue somebody else that sounds just kind of like you naturally though?
No, that's weird.
So I don't know if you can. If you're gonna be able to copyright like a timbre or something like that.
Yeah, because you can't copyright the note D. You know what I mean? The D note. So
crazy.
Lower D maybe.
No. Lower D. It's weird. I want to see what it's gonna sound like. I'm not gonna care, but I just want to see. Yeah. See how close it gets and how.
Sure, like the novelty of it.
Yeah.
I am kind of excited for the fact that like the Beatles are such a monumental act in music that like I feel the music state right now is a little stagnant. Mm-hmm. Like there are great artists coming out, don't get me wrong, but like I think and it may be it may be good, it may be bad, but like there's no more necessarily legacy artists, and which could be good or could be bad. Where like so the era of like a Coldplay or a U2 may be done. And so maybe, the Beatles coming with some music can kind of bring some fervor back into like the music scene of, old of some sort, you know?
Yeah.
But just because I like the idea of like, being like a, like, what was it last year when Kendrick dropped his album? Yeah. Like it was kind of a cool communal thing where like everybody was listening to the new Kendrick, mm-hmm. Like everybody it was almost like you were all part of the same group, kind of listen to it. And maybe the Beatles dropping new music will do something similar like that for music.
Maybe.
I mean, you're right. I'm not a big fan, but I'm just...
it won't be that for me.
Yeah.
I've never been a big fan. I mean, there's obviously a lot of respect, but I mean, they're 81. Not to say that they can't make music.
Oh, Jesus, are they?
Yeah.
And not to say that they can't make music anymore, but...
Maybe you shouldn't.
You have a lot of people that... I mean, we all go through moments of, like, where we just lose our sort of... what is that? What do you... We have writer's block. You have writer's block. Yeah. It's like right now, I have, like, memory fucking loss of what I'm trying to think of. But much like memory loss and writer's block... you become sort of like, stagnant in your writing, and a lot of people will say like, you got to end up like living more to write more, meaning like, you got to stop writing for a very, a short amount of time, could be a year, could be more than that. and during that time you're experiencing
a bunch of stuff.
everything. So you have something new to write, and I get it. These guys have lived a long time, so there's a lot that they can write about. But are they doing that? Is that what they're going to give us? Obviously, this is John Lennon's old song that they're going to be just sort of bringing to the market, and so there's nothing that they're inventing there. They're not writing anything in particular. But
now that we talk about it more and more, I'm caring less and less. You know, I don't know.
It's weird, dude. I don't know, man.
I think I care less for the fact of that it is just old music that they're revising and finishing up.
Yeah.
Like if they were like, Paul and Ringo are like, okay, we're going to make new music, and we are going to use AI to use, John's voice. I mean, maybe they'll do George's voice too. But like, if that was the case, I'd be a little more interested. Be like, okay, to the point of where you're saying like these old men are writing new music, like what is it gonna sound like? What is the lyrical content? Are they gonna like have Drake or Ed Sheeran kind of help produce things, or like what are they gonna do?
That's what I'm thinking. Like, all right, so these guys are gonna write music, and then someone else is gonna program the AI because they're not going to.
You know
what I mean?
Right.
So it's gonna be like that person's vision with, of course, feedback from the other ones doing it. You know what I mean?
I mean, no offense, dude, but like, my grandma's 88, dude, and she's spry in a lot of ways,
she is.
but a lot of other ways, not. Like at all. You know what I mean? And she's got arthritis, and there's things that I'm like, now I'm thinking like, do these guys got like the fucking super cure? Like, are their hands not arthritic? Like, can they still fucking strum a chord, without being like, oh, my achy hands, oh.
But
that's what they're thinking.
Like, is that what they're talking about? Is that what they're singing about here? Is that what's happening? And then the voice changes, dude.
Yeah,
so much, dude, over time, dude, whether you want it to or not.
To your point, they did that to Beatles songs. They took newer Paul McCartney songs and used AI to transition his voice back to old or younger.
They got
Paul
the age.
McCartney.
There's an age dial now.
Yep.
What?
Yeah.
And they did that and a lot of people preferred the younger Paul sound.
Well, of course.
He was in his prime. No one wants to hear the fucking.
Yeah, dude, come on. I don't even like.
His throat shake.
Yeah.
There's a whole like conversation to be
leather
had about
throat.
that. That's what happens, your favorite artist becomes less of your favorite artist once their voice starts changing really weird. And you're like, man, I miss the person that made me fall in love, with them in the first place.
Adam Lazzara,
voice.
key example.
There's that too. Even with Davey Havoc a little. I have a little bit of that with him too.
Well, AI could because AI will probably be like something like auto-tune, you think?
You were just on the same train with my because they have live. There was footage from Blink 182 from Coachella where like Tom because he sings with live auto tune.
Yeah.
And it kind of fluxed. They left it on while he was speaking to the crowd, and so everybody caught it. But to your face, I was like, what if they do have like live AI?
Yeah.
Like to pitch your voice down.
Yeah, it'll become auto tune pretty much, but it'll be like pitch perfect, tuned to how you want.
Honestly,
you want to sing like you're a 17-year-old again? Here you go.
I can see this happening, especially because of the fucking just the new AI technology, even with the programs we use too, dude. Yeah. The programs you use too. We're freaking experiencing like these new beta rollouts with the whole Adobe suite. And my God, it's so intelligent. It's fucking ridiculous, dude. It's like taking tasks that would normally take maybe 15, maybe more minutes than that, to just execute to be done like that quick,
Oh, yeah.
And it's amazing. So I can see that happening, where it's auto, fucking
it's
AI, tuning you. Why
I'm
wouldn't
sure
it?
They're all working on it right now.
It'd be cool though, because at the core of things, musicians are creative.
Yeah.
So, at least good ones.
Yeah.
So, good musicians will eventually use this as another
tool. Bag, yeah.
Just like I'm sure, like when synths came out, people lost their shit. They're like,
it's not a fucking guitar.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, but good musicians used it creatively, And we got club bangers from the 90s.
Yeah, Boots and Cats.
So do you feel like it's acceptable on every use of it from your artist, let's say? Because I think maybe where I would draw the line might be someone else using my favorite artist's voice.
Yeah.
But if it's my favorite artist
Using his own voice.
his original voice,
Yeah.
that
I'm
I
okay
first
with that.
heard, yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's like, okay, it's a show, so we're getting something.
Because if another artist is just replicating somebody else's voice, they're not being creative with it. They're just
Yeah.
copying,
Yeah.
So like they're not being an artist with it.
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
just trying to, ride the coattails of somebody more famous.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm cool with that. Yeah. With,
riding
like,
the coattails.
No. With the former, or
Like if Davey were to use it to pitch his voice down or something like that.
I'm
Yeah.
cool with that.
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
hear some old, some
Heck
Days
yeah.
of the Phoenix Wohos.
Get some
kind of
woes
shit.
back in there. Yep. But
Some very, very proud of you,
Yeah.
high pitched vocals, dude.
yeah.
yeah, dude. It's
I don't know if my eardrums can take that anymore.
It's so funny. It's so wild. I mean, that was like the quintessential sound,
Yeah.
that he was putting out for a moment, man.
Yeah.
I remember like anytime I would mention AFI, people would be like, "Oh yeah, that guy with the la, la, la," and I'll be like, "Yeah, that's
Yeah.
AFI. You got it.
If
All
I-
right.
That's the one."
And
Yeah,
but
yeah, I loved it.
we'll see. We'll see what happens when they actually release music. See what it sounds like. We'll do a review probably just to
That sounds good.
have some content.
We'll check it out.
Check it out.
Hear it firsthand. We'll wait to listen to it together. Let's do
Yeah.
that then.
Ah, yes.
Once it comes out,
Fucking tear
we'll
it
plan
apart.
and
That's why.
fucking.
Honestly, I don't think it's dropping for like another 18 months, so I think we got a
Oh, wow.
Let's see if they make it.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
It's gonna be a whole AI band,
Oh.
explain?